Oh, you caught me drinking. Okay. This is Roland Pruitt, and this is my Kaiju review show. Roland Pruitt's Kaiju review. This is number 14. We've done 14 of these now. We are going from the very first Toho Kaiju films all the way up to the end. Mostly Godzilla movies, of course, but there's some Mothra, some Rodan, other movies. Excuse me, a little blueberry belch there. I do a little blueberry grape drink today. In my Godzilla cup with King Kong on the other side. So now we are on Godzilla versus Ebirah, which is was also called Ebirah Horror of the Deep. That was the original title in Japan. But I guess America's audiences wouldn't go for that, so they actually called it Godzilla versus the Sea Monster in America because they didn't want to call it Godzilla versus the Giant Lobster, because that's basically what it is. Let me go ahead and bring up my able-bodied assistants, as they say on other shows. Let me bring up the lovely Anastasia and Mr. Doctor Professor Wallnott. Oh my God, HP Wallnott.
Yes,
What does
yes,
HP
Professor
stand for?
Wall. Well, well, thank you for asking. Yes, the HP stands for Herbert Percival.
Okay,
Herbert Percival Walnut.
I see. Okay, well, I thought it was like an HP Lovecraft thing. So I'm glad we
I,
got
I'm yes, I'm often confused for Lovecraft. Yes, because of the
Herbert
HP.
Percival.
Herbert Percival. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, Daddy was a fan of medieval literature and the Arthurian legends and also of H.G. Wells as well. So, whose first name was also Herbert.
Um.
Anyway,
So, when you were younger, did you get teased a lot about that name when you were in school?
yes, I got a lot of
Get a lot
Percy,
of wedgies.
a lot of wedgies. Yes, shoved into lockers and thrown into barrels and that sort of thing. And it's quite traumatic. You know.
I feel your pain, brother. I do.
Yes.
I mean, I felt your pain on all that stuff. Anyway, so Anastasia, how are you today? What have you been up to?
Well, I'm doing fine, but it's like you keep wanting to you want to compete with the other show, like you say, able body assistant. It's like, maybe there's something going on with you and this General Howitzer, you know.
Well,
I'm noticing.
I didn't say anything by name. I just said other shows, like they say on other shows. So you
Yes.
are an able-bodied assistant.
You
Um,
know, we're on the same
so
network, so there's going to be some commonalities after all.
don't
And
overthink it.
Okay, because I know there's a performer on that show that sometimes is problematic, and I'm just trying to show you the light, little step by little step, Roland, just because you're a very dashing man, very handsome, very intelligent, very elegant, sophisticated man. You deserve to have a woman who understands that. But that's for another night. We'll just keep going.
Well, I am rocking a red hoodie because the guys in this movie, they're young guys in Japan in the mid '60s. They were wearing hoodies and stuff out to sea. Before we start the movie, I have a new segment that I kind of want to do on this show where I show off action figures from companies like Bandai and YMSF. Show what's out there on the market, and it kind of helps us funnel into what we're going to be talking about in the timeline of the movie. So let's go ahead and run that little segment that I recorded a little earlier.
Hi, this is Roland Pruitt, and we are doing another segment of our action figures for Godzilla. So this one is Ebirah. So yeah, I think this is a YMSF Ebirah, and it's kind of large for these figures. Usually the figures are 6 or 7 inches. This is a little larger, a little longer than that. And that's what it sounds. He doesn't sound like no. He's like so he's a giant lobster.
So there you go. That's a new segment that we're going to be running during the shows, where I play with an action figure, basically. Hope you liked it.
That was quite yes, quite interesting. But you know,
entertaining.
The only thing, it was quite entertaining, yes. And unfortunately,
I did the wrong sound though. I did a which is more like a Bigfoot or something, you know. And he's like, yeah, he's got like that sound. So anyway,
but
I kind of messed up, but I
the only problem with this particular film is that it made me hungry throughout. You know, every time Ebirah showed up, I was like, oh, how delightful that would be! Basted in butter and you know, served up on a plate.
Well, yeah, and Godzilla boils him up a couple of times in the film. So after cracking off a couple of claws. But we'll get to that in a few minutes. Let's go ahead and start the timeline.
All right then.
And the Godzilla movies are Criterion films now. They're Criterion Edition films now, which I love. Released by Janus. So yeah, you can get the Criterion versions, which are very, very nicely done, and they're the original Japanese. There's the Toho logo at the beginning. This is 1966, I believe. And that's the original title card. That's Japanese for Ebirah, Horror of the Deep, I think. I'll give my guess.
Yes. And I like the
George Morgan.
Oh, he didn't come, did he? Oh,
he didn't answer.
That's a shame.
He won't answer, you know, unless he can be here. If he can't be here, he won't answer because it's like, it'll make you lose face, you know. So I'm like, I'm cool, but I invited him.
Okay, well,
I hope he comes back soon. Next week we're doing more of the Gargantuas. We're gonna have Kaiju Kombat back. He's a great guest too.
Oh yes,
so
yes, quite good.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's next week.
Yes.
So, all right.
I have to mention the music. It's not the usual sort of music that you hear on these kaiju films. It's a little more bouncy, a little more. You know, it's almost like a James Bond theme in a way.
Did the original Godzilla scores, and he did most of the Godzilla scores. When this film came about, it was after Monster Zero. They were already starting to cut the budgets. Like on Monster Zero, they used stock footage from Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. That's why they decided to use Ghidorah again. And the other big battle happened on a planet, Planet X, which was a very cheap set to build. And they really utilized the hell out of it. And in this film, they even cut the budget further. So Akira Ifukube was too expensive. So they got a guy named Maro Sato, who actually did the soundtrack for Godzilla Raids Again. And this soundtrack is a little different. They have the kind of the guitar, you know, and that's like one of the main themes. And I guess they were trying to market to younger teens in that time period, you know, the 60s, mid to late 60s. So Sato would again come back for cheaper films in the series, like he did the soundtrack for Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla in 1974, and it's pretty cool themes in that actually. And he came back. He was the guy that did Son of Godzilla, which we'll be doing in a couple of weeks. So I think 3 weeks. So yeah, he's done more than a couple. His music isn't as good as Akira Ifukube. I'm sorry. You know, I'm gonna paint it as it is. It's okay, but you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
So
It's
Akira
not the sort of
Ifukube
thing you
really knows
expect.
Godzilla.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
Okay,
all right.
so there's the title card. Yeah. Also, the director on this is not Ishiro Honda. It's Jun Fukuda, who also would come back to direct cheaper Godzilla movies like Gigan, which was a real low budget. And I think he did Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 74 as well. So Jun Fukuda did a couple of these, but they were the cheaper films.
Right.
And I think you pointed this out before the show. Eiji Tsuburaya, who's the special effects director on the earlier Godzilla films up through Destroy All Monsters, he actually got a director's credit for this, for directing the action scenes with Godzilla and Ebirah. I always want to call him Ebirah, but it's Ebirah. So we start with a distraught mother. Her son is lost at sea, and she's hopeful that he's going to come back to her. And a sage has told her, fortune teller, he's alive. He is going to come back to you, and she's very happy. But her other son, who's looking for a way to find his brother. So here we have the villagers are like, oh, you can't let this just eat you up. Just maybe he'll come back, maybe he won't. Just go get through life, kid. And she trusts the fortune teller that the son is alive and he's going to come back. There's his brother. He's at a news office there. He's trying to see if he can get some help finding his brother. The guy goes to the news editor. The news editor's like, get rid of him. I don't have time for this. And he goes back, and the brother has seen on the wall that there's a competition, a dance competition, and you can win a sailboat. And he wants that sailboat because if he gets the sailboat, he's going to go find his brother. He's going to go out to sea and try to find his brother.
I have to comment. In this top scene, he's talking to this official, and reading the subtitles, it almost seems, if you just kind of glance at it, it almost seems like he's saying, "Yeah, go tell somebody who gives a shit."
The guy that plays the editor is in Revenge of Godzilla as the neighbor who's selling the car. And he sounds pretty mean in the Japanese version, but they made him sound kind of poofy. Hi, what are you doing? Right? You want to look at my car? So it's kind of a weird choice to give him that voice in the English version, the American version. Next slide is probably the picture of his face. Yeah, that's him at the desk there. And he plays small characters in a lot of these movies. I don't have his name right at hand. I wrote most people's names down, as I usually do, but I didn't write his name down because he's a very small character. He's only got like 1 or 2 lines. So anyway, the brother goes off to the dance competition.
Yeah, Ryota, I believe is his name.
The brother, yes, Ryota. Kane, the Kane brothers, Ryota and Yata. Yata Kane comes into the film later. He's on Mothra Island, or Infant Island, and I like to call it Mothra Island. And he's played by Toru Ibuki, who's in a lot of these films. This guy that plays Ryota, his name's Toru Watanabe. I don't remember seeing him in any of the other Godzilla movies. I think this is one of the only ones he's ever done.
No, I don't think.
He might have one or two.
Might be in the background or something. Yes, I do have to note something else. In the we only see this newsroom in this one scene, and yet it's full of extras. For a low budget film, they spent some money on getting a bunch of background characters.
Now, here's the thing: is they have sets like this, pre-built and ready to go for all kinds of different movies and TV shows and stuff. So it's already built.
Standing set, yes.
And the extras, the day extras, they get paid nothing, man. They get a lunch. I give you some rice and sushi.
They're just happy to be there. So anyway, yes, the young man leaves. Right, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, this next this next scene, it's even more so. There's a big dance hall, and there's a whole bunch of extras dancing and passing out and stuff. So yeah, I mean, they really try hard to make it look like it's a higher budget film, and it works. Because you don't, I mean, if you're not used to the Godzilla films, you don't see what they're doing to cut the budget.
But
it's not like Doctor Who where they're going the same always, and it's
right. Yes.
It's obvious, budget.
I would suspect that all of these people, that the newsroom people and all these little dancers and everything, they probably wind up later on as islanders. They just like, just come back. We have more work for you.
Yes. If you're a dancer, okay, we got 2 scenes we want you to do. We're gonna do 3 days in a dance hall where you're doing a dance contest, and then we're gonna put brown makeup on you.
Exactly.
And a sarong, and then you're gonna be doing dancing to Mothra on Mothra Island, Infant Island. Go to set 18. That's true. All right, so we got these 2 guys. Nita, which is played by Hideo Sinazuka. And he's never been in any other Godzilla movie that I know of. He's kind of the chunky guy. He's the comic relief guy. And Ichino. Ichino is played by Chotaro Tonge. Now, he is in a lot of the Godzilla films, but very small characters usually. This is the biggest role he ever had in a Godzilla film. He's a main character in this.
Yes.
So, but he's in Son of Godzilla as one of the guys on the island that's doing the test. He's also, I take that back. He's got a very small role in the very first scene where he's on the plane that sees Godzilla. I'm sorry. So yeah, he's got a small role in that. He's got a small role in Yog Monster from Space, which is Space Amoeba, which was done a few years later. So he doesn't have big roles in these films, but this one he gets to show his acting chops, and he's good. He's not bad.
Yeah.
So Ichino and Anita. So he's looking at the boat. He's eyeing the boat. I want that boat. And the 2 guys, they have to bow out of the contest. They're too tired. And then he tells them what's going on. He says, "My brother's lost at sea. I want to try to find him. I want that boat." And I think they say that they know of a boat nearby at a dock. I think that's what happens. Because he can't steal that boat because it's in front of everybody. And so anyway, they end up heading out to the dock in their car, driving, and it's dark. It's nighttime now. So they drive out to the dock. There's a boat there. And I can't remember who owns the boat. But on the boat is...
I believe they said there's a news report, and they said that some rich American, because he reports it's stolen.
Okay, so Yoshimura is on the boat, and he's played by A-lister Akira Takarada, who's in a lot of the Godzilla movies. Unfortunately, we just lost him a couple of years ago. And he holds a gun up on him. So they're like, "Oh, hey, we weren't going to do anything, mister. We were just coming to take a look at the boat." And he's like, "Well, this is my boat, so you guys got to scram." And they're like, "Oh, we're really tired. We were in a dance contest." Actually, I don't know if they said that. Anyway, but he allows them to sleep on the boat that night, which is pretty nice. Now, what we get vibes of through this whole thing, they're hearing stories about a bank robber that took a lot of yen from a Japanese bank, and we just know that Akira Takarada Yoshimura is the bank robber. We just know it. There's all kinds of little hints and clues and stuff, and we just know it as the audience. And yes, later it turns out that he was the bank robber. So he lets him stay on the boat, which is nice. And the sun comes up, and they are floating. They're out to sea. And he wakes up and he's like, "Hey, we're moving." And he wakes up, the other guys goes, "What the hell?" And they go outside, and yes, Ryota has commandeered the boat. He's going to look for his brother. And Yoshimura has to deal with it. Now they're out to sea, and Rialto's the only one that knows where he's going. So they're out to sea, and they're looking for, I don't know, his brother.
Yeah. He was lost somewhere in the South Seas, and
looking for a needle in a haystack.
Mhm.
Talk about a drop in the ocean.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's it's a zillion to one, but they're out there, and they're doing their thing. He's making these little lock picks with another red flag, woot, bank robber. The radio talks about the bank robbery. He turns it off. Just little clues like that. And they show that they're eating all the canned food and stuff that's on the ship, on the boat. There we go. You see the shelves almost empty. Just a few cans of chickpeas. You know what chickpeas are?
Yes. Yes. I believe they're also known as garbanzo beans.
The garbanzos, yes. 'Tis true. So he's making his little lock picks there. Again, it's like bank robber.
Mm-hmm.
And they're totally oblivious to it. They're idiots. So bad storm hits, as usually happens in these movies when you're out to sea looking for your lost brother.
Mm-hmm.
The ship's falling apart, and the lightning is all over the place. And then down in the hold, his suitcase, briefcase breaks open, and there's all the Japanese yen floating around there. He's the bank robber. Yep, that's when we get the actual confirmation. And then a giant crab claw comes out, or a giant lobster claw comes out of the ocean. So there it is. So he just scuttles the boat. He destroys the boat. And they find themselves washed up on a shore of an island. It's a remote, deserted island, supposedly. And luckily they had their life preservers on. That's what saved them, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds the top of the briefcase, and he goes, yeah. He probably curses in Japanese. Curses. I don't know what, shit. Fuck. Sorry. I try to keep it clean, folks. Sorry.
Oh, dear. No.
Because he's a bank robber. They talk like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. They are known to be sometimes a bit ruffians.
Ruffians, yes. Scallywags.
Scoundrels, yes.
So they go searching the island. They figure, we're here. Let's check out and see if we can find out where we are. And they find a big sword. They're climbing up a mountain. They find a big sword. Oh, natives here.
Well, the first thing he says is cannibals.
Yeah.
You find a sword, of course, it's going to be cannibals, isn't it?
We're going to cut our heads off, man. Game over. So yeah, he's Nita is the comic relief. So
yes.
And then they look down the mountain.
They find some fruit, bananas.
That's right. I'm sorry. They find something to eat. They find bananas. They gorge themselves on bananas because they're hungry. And then they see a boat, and they're like, oh yeah, cool. There's a boat with the spraying yellow stuff all over the place. Let's go check that out. Maybe they'll get us off this rock. And on closer inspection, they see that the boat is going to a dock, and the dock is connected to kind of like what looks like a super secret military base. Hey, look. Yeah, it looks bad. Looks dangerous.
This is a Bond villain lair, if I ever saw one.
Yes. And that was the time when the Bond things were happening, in the lairs and the evil guys and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is called the Red Bamboo Complex. It's the Red Bamboo Army. They're not a big army. They can fit on one boat. We'll talk about that at the end. but they're an army nonetheless, and they're dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
So here we have the ship captain, played by. Give me 1 second. Akihiko Harata, who will play Doctor Who in King Kong Escapes. He's in Revenge of Godzilla. He's in a lot of these Godzilla films. He plays I would say witch doctor, for lack of a better word, and Mew in Atragan. He's missing some teeth, so he's got a kind of a gnarly look about him. And he plays bad guys mostly. Sometimes he plays good guys, but mostly bad guys. And talking to him in the eye patch is Akihiko Harata. That's Captain Yamamoto. And he, of course, is Dr. Serizawa in the first Godzilla movie. He's been in all of these Godzilla films somewhere.
Right.
So Hideo Yamamoto and Akihiko Harata, bad looking characters. So, and they're the evil guys that work for the Red Bamboo. Now, the Red Bamboo commander. Wait a minute. Before we talk about him, let's talk about this. This is Kumi Mizuno. Oh man. Kumi Mizuno is yummy. She plays Deo. And she is a captive, a native that they brought aboard the island from a neighboring island. And we find out later it's Mothra's island, Infant Island, that they're taking these people from, and they're enslaving them. They're making them create this yellow juice that they shoot off the side of the boat to keep Ebirah away. They control Ebirah this way. So they kind of have control. Well, they can keep Ebirah away from their boat anyway. They don't have control over him, but they're working on it. So two of the guys, the slaves, escape. They run off. And these guys, they have their worse shots than the Imperial Stormtroopers. I mean, these guys are like right next to them, and they can't shoot them with a machine gun. So these guys get this. They have a catamaran somehow right where they need it on the side of the island, not far from where they ran from. I don't know why the catamaran is there, but anyway, who am I to argue? But they get on the catamaran, they run, and the captain Yamamoto goes, let Ebirah take care of them. So they go out to sea, and sure enough, Ebirah shows up, and Ebirah, this is pretty gnarly scene actually. Ebirah scuttles the catamaran, and then with his little left, was it left or right? I think it's his right one maybe. He skewers them, skewers the two bodies. There they are, go! And then it's just like satay on the street.
Yes, this is actually pretty graphic for one of these.
For a
you
kids
don't
film,
usually
like
see this.
Godzilla kids film, yeah.
Yes, no, this.
But remember, same year, War of the Gargantuas came out, and the Green Gargantua ate a cleaning lady at the airport. I mean, just chewed her right up and spit her clothes out. So yeah, kids were traumatized this year by Toho and their choices. Anyway, so as there's a big commotion there, Kumi Mizuno escapes. She gets away. Deo, she gets away and runs off into the jungle. And she is seen by the chief, the Red Bamboo commander, played by Jun Tazaki, who again is in all of these Godzilla films somewhere. He plays a news editor, he plays a scientist, he plays the head of the Red Bamboo army. So he tells him on camera, "Hey, you didn't even see that girl run off into the woods. Go get her." So they go after her. Now, of course, she runs into our heroes out there in the jungle, and she pulls a knife. How she was able to get a knife this far without being, I'm telling you, if you were a Red Bamboo army guy and you got a bunch of prisoners, she'd be the first one you'd probably inspect, right? Am I right?
Oh, yes.
All right, we're going to do a full body cavity search. She's got a knife on her. She's got like a Rambo knife on her. So anyway, she pulls a knife on the other guys, and they're like, hey, you know, we're your friends. We're not going to hurt you. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, do you speak English? And then she does. She's like, yeah, of course I speak English. or Japanese. Anyway, yeah, let's not go down this any further. So they're talking to her, and they're like, hey, you know, what are we going to do? And that's when they realize they're being watched by a balloon camera overhead, a spy camera. And the Red Bamboo Army already knows where they are, and they're heading their way. So they got to run. So they run to some cliffs, and they jump over the cliff onto a little ledge underneath the cliff, and then they get away from the Red Bamboo Army that way. They think they've jumped into the water. Ha ha ha! They're dead. Ha ha ha! And they run away, and they go away. Now, on this little niche under the cliff, there's an opening, and lightning is striking. There's going to be a storm. There's an opening to a cave. So they go into the cave. And they say, okay, we'll be safe here. They won't find us here. You know, they won't know we're here with no balloons, with cameras and stuff like that. So this is where Deo, Kumi Mizuno, talks about Infant Island, Mothra Island, and somehow she connects with Ryota. And he goes, wait a minute, my brother's there. So he's got some hope now that his brother is safe, but he's on Infant Island with Mothra. So this is a lead into where they keep the slaves, which is there's a place where they make the yellow stuff that keeps Ebirah away from the boat. And that's what they enslaved these people for, is just to make this juice that they can spray. They can put it in tanks and then spray it off the side of the boat, keep Ebirah away, so that they can take the boat to, you know, go grocery shopping. I don't know. Where are they taking the boat? That's what I want to know. Is there another island with another Red Bamboo Army faction?
They never really explain. Obviously, yes, the yellow stuff keeps Ebirah away, as the old saying goes.
Yeah, they pulled in a bunch of slaves from Mothra Island, but how many times can you do that?
Yes.
You know, it's obvious they got enough guys to make the juice. You know, why do it again?
Yeah.
Why do it over and over? But there it is. They're just mean. They're evil. They're evil.
They won't even let them sing. They were singing some jolly little song as they were working, and stop singing.
Oh, they learned from earlier movies. Don't sing, man. Mothra will come. Don't let them sing.
I think that's probably it.
I'd show up. Shut up! Stop singing.
Speaking of which, there we go.
And then we go right to the dance number. We go to Mothra and Infant Island and Mothra, and the natives are dancing their little hearts out. They are dancing to Mothra. And again, because it's not Akira Ifukube, there's different Mothra songs, you know, in this. The two infants, the Shobijin, are played by two different actresses that have not played these characters before. The others were the Ito sisters, the Peanuts. These two girls are called something else. So they just kind of dress them to look alike.
Yes. And forgive me for saying this, but not as cute as the previous one, as the Peanuts.
well, they're not wearing those cool Jackie Onassis outfits. You know,
no, they're not. Yes.
They're wearing the island outfits, which makes more sense. You know, they wouldn't wear that on the island. But yeah, it's more sarong type stuff. So in the cave, they're still talking about, you know, Mothra Island and all that stuff. They realize, wait a minute, they kick a rock over the side of a cliff or something, or a chasm or something. They realize that Godzilla is sleeping at the bottom of the cave. That he's there hibernating. Ah, God, of all the places to be. Isn't he radioactive? They don't even mention that in this film.
No, they don't.
The last film they mentioned the radiation for Godzilla, I think, was the last film, which was Monster Zero. They got radiation from the bottom of Lake Myojin, so they knew Godzilla was there. That's it. That's the last time they ever referred to Godzilla's radiation. These guys probably would have been dead by now.
Yes.
Radiation poisoning. being that close. But anyway, so Godzilla, he's okay now. You can go. You can have dinner with him now. But he's asleep. Don't wake him up. So the next dawn comes, and they decide that they're brilliant idea. Let's go to the secret army base and break in to see what we can get, see what we can find. Maybe we can find a way off this island. I don't. Maybe we can steal one of those balloons, those camera balloons. So they go, and they've got a nice little, wall of trees and bushes and stuff made up, and they get right up to the building. The guards are real stupid here, and again, terrible shots. And there's a scene I didn't even put it in the timeline because it's just where she throws a dove up. Where she got a dove and is holding on to it, I don't know. But anyway, she throws a dove up, and it's like the cat thing, Hey, what's that over there? And they flash the searchlights over there, and it's a cat. Okay, but she did it with a dove. So anyway, I should have put that in the timeline actually because it's kind of funny that where the hell did she get the dove?
It was just hanging out in the
so
bushes.
He uses one of the, usually one of the. Oh, hey, here's a dove. Here's a dove nest. We're saved.
There you go.
Please don't machine gun the fake looking bush. So
Was that bush there before?
Yoshimura uses one of those little lock picks. He gets right in. No alarm or nothing. He just gets right in, and they get in there. And he picks his way into, a laboratory. And there are doctors, scientists there, and they're trying to avoid the scientists. And he comes across a safe. Ooh, a safe, a challenge. He's like a leprechaun who can't get by shoes. I got to clean those shoes. He's got to open the safe. So he does a little thing where he opens the safe, and it turns out it's a nuclear pile. It's a nuclear reactor. Oh, close it. We've got enough radiation today. And they're scurrying around again, trying to avoid it, and they run right into Captain Yamoto. Captain Yamoto, sorry. Not Yamamoto, Yamoto. And there he is. He's very happy. And then they actually did find some copper wire and some smoke bombs. So they use the smoke bombs, which are yellow. The Red Bamboo Army, they like yellow. They got yellow smoke bombs, yellow spray for Ebirah, but they're called the Red Bamboo Army. Why not the Yellow Bamboo Army? Anyway, I just something I just grabbed you right there. So anyway, they get away. They totally get away. I don't know how they do the old hide behind the mirror trick, where two of them put on a doctor smock, and they put these two mirrors on either sides of them, and the other guys are in between the two mirrors. Yeah, hey lady, God, don't look at the two mirrors. And it doesn't work. They end up dropping one of the sides or something, and the guards are like, hey! And Nita gets captured, and Ryota grabs onto the rope of one of those spy balloons and ends up flying away. And he takes off somehow he gets off the doctor coat, and he wraps up his arm and his leg into the wire, into the rope, so that he doesn't fall, so he doesn't get tired and fall. And the balloon just takes him out, takes him up and up and up. And he has no control over it. They go back to the cave. And like, oh, what are we going to do now? We lost Ryota. We lost Nita. And meanwhile, Deo is wearing the coil of copper around her neck like a necklace. Oh, but I've got this. And they just, I don't know if this is the moment where they actually do it. Oh, no, this is where they throw Nita in with the Mothra slaves.
No, and the moment
here's the thing.
Later, yeah.
You could be dancing all day until your legs are tired for your god Mothra. Or you could be making yellow stuff, which actually benefits somebody. And you're getting 3 squares a day. I'm sorry. I don't know where that came from. I have no idea. so, so again, you could be doing this, having fun.
Or you could be doing this.
Established that Mothra is sick too. Or you could be doing this, making yellow stuff, which is icky and gets all over between your fingers. So, but then anyway, it's a choice. That's what I'm saying. No, I guess it's not a choice. So they've established that Mothra is actually sick and dying. And that's why they're praying to Mothra and they're dancing for Mothra. She's sick. She's not going to make it too much longer. So Ryota swings in on his spy balloon, and his brother is right there. And he is reunited with his brother.
And it feels so good.
And his brother is pumped. Wow, you look great since you've been on this island. You on the Mothra diet? What's going on? We have been taking good care of him. Yeah, I don't want to leave.
Have you seen the native girls?
Tell Ma I'm fine. So, oh my God, we went there. And I've never really noticed this until just now, but in this movie, on Mothra Island, they have one of the monoliths from 2001: A Space Odyssey in the middle of the island. I don't know. Anyway, there it is. And the two little girls are right next to it all the time. So anyway, they decide they're going to use the sword as a lightning rod. They're going to take the copper wire from Ryota's neck, and they're going to wake up Godzilla. Yeah, we'll start some trouble that way. That's how we'll shake things up. Let's wake up Godzilla. He'll be nice and pissed off after, hibernating. We wake him up. So that's what they do. And it works because it's a movie. It's got to work. This old guy here, the elderly slave, they call him, is Ikio Sawamura, who's also a little character in all of these Godzilla movies somewhere. He's the little priest on the beach in Godzilla versus Mothra, or Mothra versus Godzilla. I'm sorry. He's the guy who gets the princess's bracelet in Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. He's an honest something, farmer or something like that. He's in all of these movies somewhere. He's in a Tragon as a little a taxi driver that comes out of nowhere. It's like, I saw everything. It's like, well, we didn't see you. Where the hell did you come from? Why are you in this movie? Again, I guess he's a Toho favorite. They like to use him, and they put him in everything somewhere. He's the guy. He's the native guy on King Kong's island in King Kong Escapes. That Doctor Who shoots him, kills him. He's a nice guy. All the way up through Godzilla, Terror of Mechagodzilla. He's a mute henchman in Terror of Mechagodzilla. That was the last one he did. He died like a year later. And again, he's very old in these films, and that's late 70s. This is mid 60s. So he had a long life, and he did a lot of cool parts in movies, in Godzilla movies. So anyway, as the darkness approaches, they get in their catamaran, the Kane brothers, and they're going to go back to the island and try to save the others. Because we find out that Yata Kane is a hero. He's very brave, and he will jump into danger immediately to be a hero. He's one of those guys. So they get out to sea. They've got some stuff, yellow stuff there, or fruit there that's supposed to repel Ebirah. So evidently the natives already know about that. And so they've got something they can throw out to Ebirah to get Ebirah away from their catamaran and don't skewer them like satay, like the other guys. And see, what happened now is they took that catamaran into the future or into the past. There's Mothra has a time machine, and they place it at each for the two guys to escape. No, I don't know. Anyway, it's just a weird thought that I thought I'd throw in there.
Makes as much sense as anything else in this movie.
This movie doesn't make any sense at all. Let's wake up Godzilla. He may step on us. Let's do it. So, yeah, a storm hits because they seem to happen around Ebirah. Ebirah like brings the storms out, and they lose their what are those barrels of Ebirah fruit. So, oh no, it could be worse though. Ebirah could be here. Uh-oh, he's behind us, isn't he? And sure enough, Ebirah shows up. What are we gonna do? He's gonna scare us. So there's a storm, and they've been waiting for a storm. And of course, the lightning hits the sword just as they had hoped, because it's the highest point on the mountain, right? And we see the copper wire light up, and it goes down to Godzilla. They wrap a little copper around him somewhere. I don't know who had to go down there and do that, but they wrapped a little copper around him somewhere. Again, we didn't get that scene. Dale, go down there, wrap that copper around his wrist. Wrap that copper around his big toe. So we actually see Godzilla's feet a lot in this film. And he wakes up. The eye opens up. And of course, instead of going out the large entrance that he probably came in to get into the cave, he just barrels right out the side of the mountain. I don't know how he got in there. But there it is. He just barrels right out the side of the mountain. I'll make my own exit. Because that's who he is. He's Godzilla. He's kind of a Muppet Godzilla, but he's Godzilla.
It's like the Kool-Aid man. Just burst through walls.
That's it. Oh, yeah. Awesome. That was funny. I've lost my train of thought. I was going to say something, and I can't remember. Oh, he's kind of a Muppety Godzilla in this. He looks kind of Muppety, but he is Godzilla. And the minute he gets out, being the alpha that he is, he sees Ebirah out in the water, and he wants to fight right away. And again, he's pissed. He's been woken up from hibernation, and he maybe thinks he thinks Ebirah did it. I don't know. So he goes out to the shore, and he's yelling at Ebirah, and Ebirah is squeaking back at him. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. We're at 50 minutes into our show, and Godzilla just showed up. That's the bad part about this movie. Godzilla doesn't show up until like 2/3 into the movie.
Yes.
I mean, he's there sleeping, but that doesn't count. So once he shows up, we get a lot of monster action, which is good. I mean, this is not the movie that has the least minutes of Godzilla in it, believe it or not. So he has a fight with Ebirah, and it's in the dark. And they bat back and forth. They bat a rock, which is something they did with him and Rodan and King Ghidorah. In Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. Ghidorah. And he's catching the rock, and Ebirah's catching the rock, and they're throwing it, and eventually one of the boulders flies into the red bamboo compound and smashes a building, which is great. And actually, while all this is going on, we realize, hey, the Kane brothers got away because Godzilla distracted Ebirah. So they didn't get speared and eaten. So they got to the island. Now the Red Bamboo Army is freaking out because they didn't realize Godzilla was sleeping on their island. There they set up this sweet base, and all of a sudden Godzilla shows up. Oh man, where did he come from? What the hell? Now, I have to give credit to Captain Yamamoto. He keeps his cool. He keeps his cool during all of this. Okay. But later, when you see pictures of him and his commander, the commander's like freaking out. It looks like he's taking a dump in his pants when he sees Godzilla. It looks like he's pissing himself. I mean, seriously. He just totally loses it. So Godzilla boils Ebirah and makes him go away finally. And again, they have a little underwater battle there. And I mean, it's a nice little 5-minute battle, but you know, it goes on and then it's over. So Godzilla comes out towards the base, and this is when the commander comes out. He's like, "Don't! It's Godzilla." I can't see what that is.
There's water, and then Godzilla's just like. Rah.
Okay. Oh, the fight with Ebirah is going underwater now. I think.
Yes.
That's what it is. Again, it kind of drags on a little bit. You're ready for it to be over, and it's not over yet. Now, I gotta point out that Haru Nakajima, who plays Godzilla in this, he played Godzilla in like the first 12 movies of True Gigan. He almost drowned during this picture because that Godzilla suit is made out of foam and rubber, and it absorbs water. It's like sponge with rubber coating on it. And it soaked up water, and he ended up sinking like a lead weight. They had to rescue him. They had to create a separate Godzilla suit for water after this movie because they almost killed him. And, you know, if they hadn't, he probably would have sued the company. So a separate Godzilla suit for water fighting and stuff like that was made. So dawn arises, and the Kane brothers get caught in snares. They are ensnared by the red bamboo snares, and our other heroes, Yashimura, Deo, and Ichino, Nita's with the slave. Sorry, they find them. They get together. So our group's together now. And they look down at the Red Bamboo Army, and the Red Bamboo Army is still kind of freaking out because they realize Godzilla's on the island and he's getting closer. And then Yata Kane decides he's going to go down there and try to save his people. So he makes a run for it. And then, of course, Yashimura is like, "Oh, geez." He goes after him. And the Red Bamboo Army sees the group and starts shooting at them. And again, they can't hit the broadside of a barn. And they're chasing Deo, and Godzilla comes. And he peeks over the top of and there's a nice little reaction. "Oh, hey! Take cover, take cover!" And I guess Deo understands, you know, being from Mothra Island with kaiju and everything, she understands that Godzilla probably doesn't have great eyesight. So she just kind of stays where she's at and doesn't move.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she's got a bright sarong on, but she doesn't move. Now, I think at this point, I got to point out, Godzilla's throwing rocks in this film a lot. And that's something Godzilla hasn't done a lot in the other movies. He did a little bit. You know, he would kick rocks at Ghidorah and stuff like that. But this movie was originally written for King Kong. So this was supposed to be King Kong versus the sea monster, or Ebirah. And for some reason, they decided, I guess it was because of the copyright issues, they decided to go with Godzilla instead. So there's a lot of King Kong type action in this film, but it's being done by Godzilla. He doesn't use his fire breath as much as he normally does, and he's throwing rocks and stuff instead. Just saying. King Kong would get a movie the next year with King Kong Escapes. And then they would have to build another dinosaur that looks like Godzilla, Scorosaurus, for that movie. Go figure. So Godzilla decides, "I'm still tired. I'm gonna take a nap right here on this rock." So he sits down. He's looking down at Deo, not Rio. He's looking down at Deo, and she's standing still. She's not doing anything. He's like, "Are you gonna move? You gonna do anything? Huh? No? Okay. Let's just kind of chill here." And yeah, the others were watching, and they're like, "Oh, well, is he going to sleep? What? Can we get to her?" and that's eventually what they do. They get to her, and he's sleeping. He's conked out. Who would have thought Godzilla's narcoleptic? He just conks right out. "Hey, there's a beautiful girl." Out he goes.
But I think this is also you mentioned that this was supposed to be a King Kong adventure, but
Kong would have done that in a heartbeat.
Kong, yes, he looks like he
Kong
doesn't.
likes the girls. If the girls aren't running away, he'll just take a nap.
Yeah,
So you stay there. I'm going to take.
Clearly doesn't want to harm the girl. He's just sort of like, okay,
Right.
and he
Godzilla would
protects
eat
her.
her.
Yes.
And this is where we get probably one of the most ridiculous scenes in any of the Godzilla movies. We get the giant condor.
Mm-hmm.
There's no explanation as to why there's a giant condor on this island. Nobody ever mentions the fact that there's a giant condor on the island. Like the Red Bamboo Army goes, be sure we have those weapons ready for the giant condor if it comes back. You don't get any of that. It just shows up in this scene, and it pecks at Godzilla, and it's clearly not a match for Godzilla, but there it is. It's just a time killer. So it pecks around at Godzilla and stuff, and then Godzilla, uses his fire breath to turn it into, roast turkey. And I love the way he zaps it with his atomic breath, and then it kind of bounces off a rock before it lands in the ocean. It just kind of bounces off the ledge there, and then whoop into the ocean, and down she goes. That's gonna smart tomorrow. And then he sits back down. I'm tired, man. I'm getting old. He's just like, I just sit down. So there he is, and he's waiting, and he's waiting, and he's waiting, and all of a sudden, the jet fighters show up. Hey, the Red Bamboo Army jet fighters are here. Now, Toho is still down there by his feet somewhere, and the other guys are trying to get to her and get her away. And you would think a giant condor would be a distraction enough, but
nope.
So here come the jet fighters, and they're firing at him. And of course, they should know by now that airplanes and jet fighters don't really hurt Godzilla all that much. So yeah. Now he's thoroughly distracted by he's crushing jet fighters in his claws. He's swatting them with his tail. He's thoroughly now they're using something that looks like napalm there. Poor Toho. Isn't she by his feet?
Yes. Very close by, yes.
She must have her asbestos sarong on. Anyway. So as Godzilla's fighting these planes and scaring the hell out of them, they're getting so close. They're like Top Gun. They're getting right next to his mouth. Let's fly between his jaws. Let's do that. Let's do a flyby. Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't just catch one in his mouth. So they get to Toho and they get her out of there, which is cool. And but he's upset now. He's like, "Oh man, you hurt my jaw." So he goes stomping towards the red bamboo. Now I don't know why he didn't do this the night before, but here he is now. He's here now. He's finally here. Read. Now look at the commander. That is a commander that's just lost 5 pounds of brown. I'm telling you right now.
Exactly, yeah.
Captain Yamato is barking out orders. He's like, fire at him, fire at Godzilla. And the commander's like, he is not happy. I want my mommy. It's Godzilla. The tracer bullets here are kind of cool. I gotta admit, but not even slowing them down. And they're watching for a high. And here's where, I'm sorry, I said this earlier. Here's where Yato Kane decides to go down and rescue. You know what? I'm going to wait till Godzilla attacks, and then I'm going to rescue my friends. He won't step on me. And again, Kong wasn't radioactive, so there's no radioactivity mentioned in this film at all. That wasn't written in the script, and it didn't get written in the script after they changed it. So Yeah, Godzilla's stomping on things, and the roof of the place where the slaves are starting to cave in. They're like, oh, they're scared. And Nita is telling the guards, hey, let us out. Come on, Godzilla's close by. Let us out. And they're like, get back, you dogs. Godzilla will step on you and you'll like it. And there's Godzilla stepping on a Lego. Ouch. Yata put a Lego down there, a giant Lego down there for him. He knows how to stop Godzilla. So again, Yashimura runs down to help him, even though he doesn't want to. And we're getting little spots of Yashimura where he's not a bad guy. He's a nice guy. Yoshimura. Here we get them again, and the commander's he just looks totally frightened, scared. I'm sorry, I'm getting my charge cable. My phone is about to die here. I'm using my phone camera.
Uh-oh.
I should have probably said that out loud during the show. Maybe we can edit it out later. No. Yeah, anyway, who cares? By the way, they have been making fake yellow juice thanks to Nita. Nita goes, hey, let's make yellow juice out of something else. I don't know what else they did, what else they used, but it's not the yellow juice that repels Ebirah. That's a point here in the plot. So they've been making fake juice that's not going to repel Ebirah. So the guards come in, they take the yellow juice. They're going to get, hey, aren't you going to let us save us? Aren't you going to let us out? Get back, you dogs. And yeah, so they lock them back in there. Hey, you guys are nasty, man. You guys are bad. Knock him to the floor. Well, whatever you do, don't take those barrels of yellow juice, okay? We worked hard on those. Get back, scum. And this is where Yata and Yoshimura come, and of course, Yoshimura's got his little lock picks. He's gonna get him right out of there. Now, a scientist downstairs has set the self-destruct bomb. We have 2 hours to get off the island. So he's giving them plenty of time. Of course, Godzilla can get off the island in 15 minutes as well, but let's set it for 2 hours. So they go down. I don't know why they went down here, but they went down here, and he's like, hey, stop. I've set them self-destruct, and you can't stop it. Well, sure we can. All we got to just switch it the other way, right? You get back. You hear me? And Godzilla steps on the building above. And it comes right through the roof and on top of this scientist. Ah! And he's like, you only have 2 hours. Get away. I'm stuck under these pillars. I'm dead.
That's pretty much it, yes.
I didn't say that. He didn't say that. But, that's what he should have said. I think this is where they find out they only have 2 hours. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot of time. That's pretty cool. We got 2 hours to get off the island. Well, okay, great. We got plenty of time to get away from the island. But they're sticking around going, hey, but maybe we can stop the bomb. So anyway, the boat goes out. Everybody's loaded up on the boat very quickly, I might add, the whole army. And there's none of them are hanging off the side of the boat or anything. So I mean, it must be a really small army. So the boat heads out to sea, and Godzilla is continuing to step his way past all the buildings there at the complex and destroy the complex, and they decide, hey, we could sing to Mothra and get Mothra to come and save us. Let's make a giant basket out of leaves and stuff. And vines and crap that we can get out of the forest. We'll make a big basket, and then Mothra will pull us away in that. Sure. And then they see the boat out to sea, and the guy Nita is laughing because he's like, hey, we made fake yellow juice. Watch this. He didn't say watch this, but that's what he meant. This is gonna be funny. And Ebirah comes out. Fire the yellow juice. Hey, why is it not working? What the hell? And sure enough, yeah, he scuttles the boat, picks it up in his claw, cracks it in half. And again, you would think that there's like zillions of soldiers on that boat and they'd be falling off the sides, but no, you don't see a soul. So it's a very small army, an army of like 30, 50 maybe, tops. So Godzilla sees Ebirah again, and again, he's like, "You're still alive? You're still around?" And he's like, I gotta show you what's what again. So we're gonna get a fight in the daytime now. And look at how muppety his face looks in that shot. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't like each other, and they make it very clear that they're annoyed by each other. Time to build a basket. Let's build the basket. We got to move through these fast. So Godzilla again goes out into the water. I'm gonna now later in the film, Godzilla does a big power dive. He does like a cannonball off the side of a cliff into the water. But you would think that they would have shown this scene when he goes to fight Ebirah in the water, but no, he just steps into the water and there he is. He's in the water. But later, yeah, he jumps off the island. I guess it's more exciting when there's a bomb about to go off and he power dives. I'm sorry, cannonballs off the island. Anyway, I digress. And we're over time already. So they keep trying to get the switch, and it keeps going down further where they can't reach it. And Ryota tries. He's got smaller, scrawnier arms. He can't get it. Godzilla again fries Ebirah. And you would think boiling him in water like that would do him in, but now they have a fight underwater. He pulls him under the water again, and they have a big fight. Oh, that's the other song. That's the other movie. Sorry. They're calling to Mothra. Wake up, Mothra. Our people need you. They need you to just fly one more time. One more return flight. That's all we need. And you can go save them. Just pick up that little tiny basket. It'll be so easy for you. Okay, Godzilla's there, but you won't have to fight him. Just pick up the basket and run. And they're doing that. The bomb's getting lower and lower and lower. And Godzilla's, biting Ebirah underwater. And Mothra wakes up. Yeah. Hey, all I had to do was ask, guys. Yeah. That's a terrible Mothra. It's a terrible Mothra. So she flies off. The bomb is almost about to go off, so it must be close to 2 hours. Like an hour and 45 minutes, maybe. The fight goes up above the water again, and Godzilla actually pulls off Ebirah's claws. Oh, yeah? You're going to try to poke me with those? Well, guess what? Mothra's flying that way. Off come the claws. So Ebirah now has no way to fight. Oh, he could poke him with a sharp nose, I guess. Poke him in the eye. But Godzilla adds insult to injury by taking the big claw and just kind of clapping it. Yeah, you got no claws now. What are you going to do now? He's just kind of clapping there. And he looks up and he sees Mothra. Mothra, what the hell are you doing here? I don't want you here. And Mothra flies right by him. Does a little, again, Top Gun flyby. Everybody's pissing Godzilla off in this film. Hey, get the basket. It's ready. We only had an hour to make it, but it's ready. Let's go. And Mothra flies over. Godzilla is waiting towards them. Oh, my God. Godzilla's going to be here in a few minutes. Hurry. Can you tell her to just pick us up and take us away? Okay. We will tell her. Mothra, pick up the basket. Take it away. And, of course, this gives Godzilla time to get close because that's a little more exciting, I guess. So a little mini fight between Mothra and Godzilla. Not much going on, really, because Mothra's, almost dead. And she does a little flyby and knocks Godzilla over and then goes and picks up the basket. Boing. Off it goes. And Godzilla's like, hey, come back here. Damn it. And off she flies.
Actually, I thought Godzilla kind of sad. Like, wait, guys, come back.
and this is the point where they all feel sad for Godzilla. Like, oh yeah, Godzilla couldn't help being on that island. It's gonna explode in a zillion pieces. Jeez. And they all start yelling at Godzilla. Hey, Godzilla, like he speaks, Japanese. Godzilla, jump off the island, get away. They're all yelling at him. And he understands. He's like, maybe I should go to the cliff and jump off the island. So no, we don't really realize this that the Shobujin actually gave him a little telepathic message. Yeah, jump off the island, it's gonna explode. So he does a little with his arms up. Again, pure Nakamura move right there. Or Nakamura, listen to me. Nakajima move. And we got a great cannonball. This is actually a great moment for Godzilla. That cannonball off the side of the cliff, that's awesome. I'm sorry. That really is awesome. And that might have been the scene that almost did him in. I don't know. I want to say it's a scene where he was fighting Ebirah, but this could have been the one that did him in. Because obviously, if you're jumping into the tank there, you're going under the water. And that means the water is going to get in your neck, in your mouth, So anyway, the bomb goes off. And the island goes up very quickly. It is a very quick self-destruct. And Mothra flies off and Yoshimura says, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll go straight. Ha, 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 ha. And they're all laughing. Ha, 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 ha. Like not. And they look down and they see Godzilla, his fins out of the water, like, dun, 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 dun. They see it. And they're like, hey, look, Godzilla got away. Hey, cool. All right. And then the island continues to blow up. And Mothra continues to fly away. And we get the end credits. Dun, 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 dun. And that's Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, Ebirah, Horror of the Deep. Horror of the Deep. Or Godzilla versus Ebirah to you purists who really love Godzilla. So we always like a good VS in the middle of our title. And that's it. So next time we're going to do War of the Gargantuas, which is probably the best kaiju movie without Godzilla in it. Again, Nakajima-san plays the Green Gargantua in it. It's a really good movie. And it's a lot of fun. So tune in for that. Live next Tuesday, 7 Eastern Time. General Howitzer's Big Monster Briefing Room is coming up on Thursday, 7 o'clock live. They're going to do Phantom of the Opera, I believe. And if you haven't seen any of the Big Monster Briefing Rooms, check them out on YouTube, Twitch, X. They're there. And there's like 150 of them. We only got 14. They got a lot. So, and I'm sorry, I mentioned their show again, but they're kind of a sister production,
It's okay. It's
Anastasia.
okay. I'm just
girlfriend's on
pointing
the
it
show.
out.
Come on.
There's incestuous. There's a little incestuous. I'm just because that show is the one you're talking about with the loud New Yorker, the brash woman. It's
Loud
just
New
it's
Yorker.
not
My
it's not of the sophistication that we usually have on this show. We have Professor Wallnott. We have you.
That crew. They have fought all kinds of monsters. They have seen action. They have. You're going to see it next Thursday.
You're right. They're more action oriented, like the first line of defense. These are cavemen, if you will. This woman is more like a cave woman. I can see her being a little frightened of fire. Is this fun? The Yolanda or whatever her name is. I don't remember her name, but yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for helping us get this through. I didn't think it was going to go an hour and 20 minutes, but hey, it's Godzilla. Thank you.
There was a lot to say about Godzilla. Yes, a lot to say. Yes.
Herbert Percival Wallnott. Thank you, Dr. Professor, for being here.
He's very Herberty. You're very Herberty. I love it. You look like a Herbert. Maybe sometime we will call you Herbert or
That's
Herbie.
Yes. No.
Herbie the Love Bug. That's
okay. It's always Professor Wallnott. He's very business. It's all business. You see.
Yes. No, Herbie the Love Bug. Unfortunately, was one of my nicknames. It was.
Oh, okay. I was gonna call you that, but I could see it will cause some PTSD. So I won't call you that.
He's called Fat Boy. Fat Boy and Railroad Tracks. So anyway,
Yeah.
Oh, that's
thanks
just
for joining
awful.
us.
That's really crazy. That's too crazy. I will beat them up if you want me to. Just point them out in a crowd. I will take care of them.
Fat boy, yeah, all of them, all of them.
Don't worry,
anyway,
because I
thank
take
you.
care of kneecaps. I will take care of kneecaps.
She will
Should go
take
all
care of
galooly on
kneecaps.
somebody.
Yes.
Oh, my mom did. Anyway,
That's
we won't go
good.
there. We
Good,
won't talk
Zen.
about
Very
that.
good. She's a good mama.
Thank you
Mama
very much.
bear.
Hope you enjoyed this show, and we'll see you next time on the big. Freudian slip on the Kaiju. Roland Pruitt's Kaiju review.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, it's too crazy. All right, Roland. Thank you. One more time. One more time. Can you say
Yes,
it one more
thank you
time
so
for
much.
the outro?
Say thank you so much for joining us here on the Kaiju review.
Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe. Thanks.